What is up, guys? Welcome, Crypto FUD, and let's jump right into this. Excuse me. Well, it's been a great day today. Bitcoin running off of all-time highs. We're gonna give everybody a few seconds to jump in. Flips in the house. I think we're good to go. As long as Flips here, we're good. What's going on, brother? Bill, what's going on, bro? What's going on, man? What a day to be alive, right? Bitcoin making all-time highs. All-time highs. We're going to cover everything here. My XLM has risen from the dead. Nice, bro. Owen, what's going on? Owen said, "Is this it?" I'm gonna cover some, what I think. You guys already know what I think, right? You guys already know I've been talking about this for a while, the 4-year cycle, right? I still do believe that we are 100% on track as far as that, which would pin us basically somewhere around October, November to make, the last, stretch of all-time highs. And this is when you're talking about Bitcoin dominance, down. We don't know how far, but Bitcoin dominance down, obviously, in altcoin season going crazy towards the end of this year is what I'm thinking, right? That would put us exactly on our 4-year cycle. What we've been on track, we've never broken off that 4-year cycle. We have seen some things this time around that have been a little different. We've covered this plenty of times on the channel as far as like Bitcoin making all-time highs before the actual halving, right? Stuff like that. Obviously, ETFs was a big thing that's kind of, throwing a wrench into the equation, stuff like that. So I'm not saying that it's going to be exactly like we've seen, like I refer back into 2021, but I would be very surprised if it's not something very similar. So, but I'll go into it a little bit more in detail on what I think as far as, these next few months, and how I honestly think that regardless of, even if we do see some, movement towards the downside here and there, I think for the most part for this year, I think it's going to be a fantastic year for us moving forward. And I'm talking about in the next 3-4 months, us really breaking some crazy numbers for Bitcoin and finally seeing these altcoins absolutely going just apeshit. And I think what's going to start all of it is going to be Ethereum, right? Tuan, what's going on, bro? What is going on? I want to point something out real quick. Let's pull up YouTube real quick, right? I'm going to point something out here and go over to my channel, pull it up, and I just look at this. This was just a day ago, right? You guys can see the video that we posted just a day ago, basically saying that this setup will send us to all-time highs. And literally 24 hours, we are in all-time highs. I just wanted to point that out, right? Obviously, not tooting my own horn, no diddy on that, but just pointing stuff like that out. I'm telling you guys, stay focused. Just keep your eyes on the prize. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. And I'm telling you guys, we're going to get to where we want to be towards the end of this year. I'm telling you, I can't guarantee anything, obviously, but the way things are looking, the way things are setting up, I wouldn't be surprised at some point at the end of this year, we're absolutely seeing altcoins is really what we're waiting for. Memecoin'S to just go absolutely freaking parabolic. So, Bill, I appreciate it, bro. Ricky, what's going on, bro? We got the whole squad in the house. Did you guys did you guys have fun last night at the trenches? Did you guys have fun? I'll tell you this. I am all over Pump Fund right now, bro. All over it. We covered it last night. Not Pump Fund, but we covered some hacks in the system, we'll say. And I've been all over it today. Just basically doing what we talked about last night on the members only stream. And yeah, been having a fantastic day today. Other than, I'm not going to lie. Let me check my my stuff on the other screen. I'm not going to lie. I did get liquidated maybe a few hours ago. You guys always know we run up to like 109, 110. I always open up a short, right? And I know that at some point I'm going to get my ass handed to. Today, I got my ass handed to. I was out shopping with my daughter because we're about to be leaving on a cruise. And I'm watching on my phone. We break 109. We're breaking 110. I'm like, all right, nice. I have a short open. Went too crazy on the short, right? And I don't necessarily mean on the amount, but really it was too crazy as far as like too high of a leverage. and my liquidation was at like 111, I think it was, or something. It was actually, I think it was like 110.9 or something like that. I don't remember, but I wasn't even paying attention. I knew we were running, right? But I'm in the middle of at the mall. I'm shopping with a 16-year-old girl, and I'm not paying attention. I'm more paying attention to how much money she's putting on my credit card. And I come back to my phone and we're at like 112. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like 112. I was like, I think I just got liquidated. I stop in the middle of the mall and I pull up. I look and I'm like, oh, I'm not, I wasn't even like flipping out, because I was more happy that we broke all-time highs. But I was like, nice. All right, well, got liquidated. We were at like 112. And you know what I did? I reopened that short position. I did. I reopened it. I'm actually up right now about 15%. So nothing too crazy. But I was like, you know what, this is a good opportunity for me. I do think that we're going to probably continue to move. I don't know if we're necessarily going to be, running up, continuing this move that we've seen in the last few hours, because we definitely need to cool off. But at the same time, don't think because I opened up a short at 112 that I think that we're that's it. We're heading down. That was the whole run. No, I take advantage of small plays. For instance, like yesterday, I had a short open at like 109, closed it this morning. Where I'm looking at the weekly, I'm like, I closed it down at 74,000. No, let me pull up a quicker, a smaller time frame. So, like as of yesterday, I opened up a short around 109. I disclosed this in the members only stream, and I did close it like later. This morning I closed it whenever we dropped down, and I'm happy that I did because it was a bigger short. Made that money. Reopened a position when we were running up because I was like, you know what, we might be making some kind of a double top. We'll probably run up to about 109, maybe 110, and then we'll probably come back to retest some of these lower levels. Well, you guys can see, and I kept adding to the position. That was the worst part, is when we were breaking like 110, I was adding to the position, small increments, but just adding, and it was like 20 minutes of me not paying attention and us breaking these all-time highs. So you can see this was our previous all-time high. To show you guys this line right here, this 112,700 or $112,007, right, was the exact point that where we hit all-time highs prior, and we actually ran up to about 112,040. So it wasn't anything like, oh my God, we shattered all-time highs. We basically ran up and hit our head exactly where we were at before. If you look at this chart right here, let me see. Oh yeah, I'm like, this is the weekly right here, and you can see on the weekly, we literally, it looks like we came up, slapped the exact same spot as of now. So we definitely want to break. We need to break above 112, and we need to find it as some support, and I think we will at some point in due time. Right now, obviously, the markets, they want to rally. They want to run alts. I keep telling you guys this. Alts have been so pimped up in the last, 6-8 months. We've had small little spurts where you'll see some of these alts come alive, but it's short-lived. And I've talked about this so many times where it's just basically retail doesn't have the confidence to stay in right now. Well, and I'm speaking of prior to this big run that we've had right now, right? You've seen a lot of retail come in. They kind of come in, either they get their ass wiped, or they come in, they make a little bit of money, and they're out as far as alts, right? Bitcoin, that's not retail that's moving all this. This is 100%, I say 97% institutional monies, BlackRock, your Michael Saylors, your big countries, your big institutions that are basically gobbling up, no diddy on that one, as much Bitcoin as they can as of now, right? But retail, when we see retail actually come in and stay in, that's when you're going to see, Ethereum's going to move. I do think that institutions are, I've been calling this, I called this out, last week I said this, I said, what did I say on the last stream too? I'm thinking about it all now. I said, we're going to see a $3,000 Ethereum coming up soon. We're at $2,750 right now, right? Institutions are going to start gobbling up Ethereum as well, right? But you're going to see a little bit more retail FOMOing in on Ethereum, just because they look at Ethereum, they look at Bitcoin, 111, 112,000. They're like, I missed the boat on that one, right? But they're going to be looking at Ethereum, 2,700. I can buy Ethereum, right? A lot of them don't have the concept of the circulating supply and stuff like that. So they're going to be like, well, I can buy Ethereum. Ethereum will probably do what Bitcoin's doing, right? And get up to $100-something thousand. We all know that's not happening anytime soon, or if ever, just because there's different circulating supplies, right? If you look at Ethereum, Ethereum has 100+ plus 100 million plus circulating, coins in circulation versus Bitcoin is only going to have 21 million, right? So you have to take that in consideration as far as circulating supply and market cap and all that stuff. If for Ethereum to get to $100,000+, it would need to get to like $50 trillion. Or I'm just throwing numbers out, but something like astronomical, right? But regardless, retail doesn't think like that, right? They don't think like we do. So they'll come in, they'll FOMO in on Ethereum. Ethereum will run, it'll lead the way, and that's what's going to bring all the alts coming up as far as money coming in, because then they start running into Ethereum. They're getting introduced to Solana. XRP, I feel like XRP is like a staple across the dinner table as of now. Most people know about it, whether you're in crypto or not. But you get the gist, right? Where you're seeing a lot of retail money flowing in first to Ethereum, and then they're going to start flowing into other things. What else do you think they're going to be coming into, right? I've said this so many times. Why, when meme coins come out, when people create meme coins, they make the circulating supply. They actually, make what the price is going to start at. Why do you think all these meme coins have 5 zeros in front of them, right? It's because it makes the buyer more intrigued to buy, right? It makes the earlier investor more intrigued to buy versus getting that one Ethereum for $2,753. I can spend $2,700 on Pepe right now and get 20 billion Pepe, right? It makes them feel like they're getting more bang for their buck. That's why you see a lot of times earlier investors come in and they'll bypass a lot of these utility projects, these big ecosystem layer one, stuff like that, and they'll usually FOMO in onto some kind of meme coins because they saw their favorite YouTuber. He's rich off meme coins, right? They see their favorite YouTuber talking about meme coins. They see that their buying power is going to stretch farther, and the way they're looking at it they're getting billions for their money versus buying that one Solana, that one Ethereum, those 20, XRP. You guys get the gist, right? So, but the point of what I'm getting to is we're going to see a lot of money coming into the market here coming up, in my opinion, in these next few months. Honestly, I do think it probably in the next 2 months, we're going to really start ramping up and you're going to start seeing a lot of money coming in. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing Bitcoin dominance starting to come down. So let's check out dominance right now. I would imagine it's probably not down whatsoever. It's slightly down. And this right here proves the point, right? Like I always tell you guys, Bitcoin can easily be running, right? Bitcoin easily can be running up to all-time highs, and dominance can be dropping at the same time. A lot of people, they think that dominance equals the price, right? Where dominance has to rise, the Bitcoin's price is going to rise. Not necessarily. This shows you that on top of that pump that we just saw, a lot of people actually were moving, not a lot of people, but a lot of money was moving not only into Bitcoin, but also into altcoins as well. So Bill said no Diddy and gobbling up is crazy. I had to make sure, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just hear gobbling up and you're just like, I thought in my head as I said, I was like, is that a no Diddy event? I was like, yeah, that when in doubt, you no Diddy it out, in my opinion. That's what I've learned. If you're at the barbecue, if you're out at the cookout and you say something like that that's very sus, you got to throw out the no Diddy. You have to. Flip said, when it's up $125 plus retail will come. When it's up to $125,000, I'm guessing what you mean for Bitcoin. I don't even know if it needs to go up that high, bro. Like, it's going to get there, but like I said, I don't think it even needs to get to that high for retail really to start FOMO in. But who knows, bro? This, like I said, this cycle has been crazy. Where does Bitcoin need to get to where you're seeing alt or retail really being confident and diving in, and staying in? That's the thing. It's not just jumping in, but staying in. Hold on one second. My dog comes into the office. She opens the door, and she doesn't freaking shut the door behind her. I think it's kind of rude. She comes in with her nose. She opens the door, and then she doesn't shut the door behind her. These dogs, they just kidding. But looking at the crypto bubbles, it looks great, guys. I mean, it looks fantastic. Cheers. I'm drinking. I'm back on the teas, guys. It's summertime. If you guys were with us last summer, I literally killed teas the whole freaking summer, right? You guys remember? By the end of summer, I was like, I'm not drinking another twisted tea for like a long time. Well, we're back. We're back. It's summer. And we're drinking the spiked teas. It's so good. Ricky said it needs to not dump down, actually. What do you mean? You talking about dominance or are you talking about Bitcoin? I'm guessing you're saying Bitcoin doesn't need to dump down, right? We need dominance to freaking take a shit. Bubbles, I mean, right? These bubbles, they look great. WIF is up 11.5%. Athena coming up 9%. XRP at 4% right now. ICP, keep moving, baby. Up 7.6. I think Bill was talking about this. XLM up 12%. One of the bigger movers. That's nice. Uniswap up about 10%. VeChain 7%. Lido 11%. Caspa 5%. So you can see across the board, everything looks to be up at least 5 to 10. Some of them are a little up past that 10, maybe 12%. Looking good. ADA up 6%. I mean, it looks great. It looks great. And this is what I'm telling you guys. You'll know when we're running. You'll know when we're running. We have a nice little spike right now. Like I said, I mean, don't let this discourage you. As we run up and we see little cool offs. I think at the end of the day, when you really pull back and you look at these charts, let me jump out of this 5-minute degen right here because of all my leverage trading. Let me pull up a different chart here. It makes it a little bit easier on the eyes. Makes it a little easier on the eyes here. Get rid of some of this stuff. If you guys, so we're looking at the 4 hour, let's pull up the daily, but I mean, if you really look at these charts, I mean, Bitcoin really on this run, right? Remember, like just what was it? 2 months ago, we dropped down about 74,000. We kind of bounced. Another area that I did say that we were most likely going to need to retest was this 74K, which was our all-time high when we were running. I know it's like, this is all like ancient history, right? But just back in a little over a year ago, right? Back in 2024, if you guys remember, we ran up to 70. It was about 73, almost 74K. And if you guys remember, we were in a bull flag for like 5 months. And I said, when this thing breaks out, it's going to be friggin' epic. And it did. Obviously, that's when we ran up. We already know what happened. We ran up past 100K. It was a big deal. But, after that, we hit these all-time highs at around 109 during the inauguration. And then we had this big cool-off down to 74. But the point of what I'm getting to is since then, we came back to retest these areas. We've basically been hanging around in some solid areas. Yes, we've dropped down just briefly down to about 98K. But look at this V-shaped recovery. And I mean, look where we're at right now, right? You can tell that this market has been very, very strong. Honestly, if you don't look at these hourly moves, even the daily moves, if you really look and you look at the full spectrum of just in the last few months, we've been really in a tight range at around 100 to 110,000. Obviously breaking above slightly, breaking below slightly, but we've been in this tight range, basically indicating that we've been in the market has been in a very solid bull kind of arena waiting for the next big move. Our next move today, obviously we made it to a 112, but we need to stay like Ricky's saying, we need to stay around that area and we need to keep retesting this 112 for us to really break above, and 112 being nothing for us. Right now 112 is everything because we haven't broke above it yet, right? We haven't really broke above. We've jumped up a few dollars, but we keep getting rejected. And I say keep, it's only been 2 times, but you guys get what I'm saying. We need to really at least find some solid support above this 110,000 area, in my opinion. If we can stay above the 110, I think breaking 112 is going to be absolutely nothing coming up in these next few weeks. So a little dose of what we are going to be getting in the next few months. So Ricky said every time we go up, we dump. If we stop dumping, confidence will come back. Oh, 100% agree with you, bro. 100% agree. And we're looking at the fear and greed index right now. This is going to be lagged, right? I'm sure tomorrow we're probably going to be a lot closer towards greed. But right now, as of earlier, we were at around 52 neutral, right? So meaning half the market is bullish, half the market is bearish as of earlier. I'm sure a lot of this is kind of switched over to being a lot more bullish. But you can see this is what you're talking about, Ricky. Every time we run or we make some highs or we even see somewhat of some life, even in the alts, Bitcoin will start reversing, and then the alts get decimated again. If you're someone that's long term, like a lot of us, buying in on a lot of these projects, it stinks to see like us, your project's up 30-40% in one day and then the next day they're right back down to where we were at. It does suck, but at the same time, I don't mind it because I just keep accumulating, right? For certain projects because I'm long term and I know where we're headed, right? I know where we're headed. So, but I 100% agree with you on that one. Gene said, check Milady. Let's pull up Milady here. We haven't pulled up our beloved Milady in a while. This chart, I think I might need to start a new chart with Milady because this is just horrendous. Like, this is my own chart and I don't even know what the hell is going on here anymore. I don't even know what's going on here anymore. I mean, to be honest with you, bro, Milady's up about 4% as of now, right, for the day. It's really it pretty much looks like it's bottomed out for now, right? And it looks like it's consolidating. So, Milady's going to be one of those meme coins, dude, where everybody's going to write it off. Everybody's going to be like, bro, Milady's not doing anything. They're going to sell off at losses and stuff like that. And out of nowhere, mark my words, it's going to start freaking running. It's going to be on an epic run. It's going to be going crazy. And now everybody's going to be talking about Milady, right? And this is going to happen for probably majority of the meme coins. They're all going to see their time in the sun and they're going to run. The reason why I think Milady's run is going to be epic is because she's really been slept on. No diddy on that one. No pun intended on that one either. She's really kind of just been on the back burner. And with a market cap of being around $28 million, bro, this thing could easily run up to $250 million and 10x from where it's at right now. Easily. But that's the same story that you could see for a lot of meme coins right now. A lot of meme coins that were like $100+ million are freaking at like $10-20 million right now. So many plays right now, right? That we're going to see, maybe a year from now, we'll look back and be like, holy shit, look at where this project was down to $8 million. It at its high ran up to 500 million, right? Shit like that. And 500 million is baby shit on a market cap compared to what some of these meme coins have been to, right? So I think there's going to be some epic stories down the road, but like we always go through, right? Right now is a good time. Today, it's a good time. It feels good. We're pumped up. Everything's great. You guys know how it goes, right? In a week from now, maybe it'll be the opposite. Blah, 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 right? But I think what you need to understand is where we're headed, right? And I keep bringing this up. I'm going to keep bringing this up. If you really look and we go back, we'll just pull up the weekly real quick because I have to keep reminding, is 2021, right? The last 4 years. Bitcoin always runs in a 4-year cycle, right? I said, yes, at the beginning of the stream, there are stuff that are vastly different this cycle that you can't ignore, right? But I still do believe at the end of the day, Bitcoin's going to naturally just be on that 4-year cycle. And not only Bitcoin, let me give you a secret. The stock market runs on a 4-year cycle for the most part as well. So Bitcoin will eventually get into a bear market. So will the stock market, right? And they usually tend to run around the same time because either one, usually the stock market goes into a bear market and it brings Bitcoin down as well, right? So what I'm getting to is if you go back to 2021, if we zoom in at these times, we talked about this on our members only stream. We bring this up all the time because I feel like our members only stream, we go in a little bit more in depth, and I'm more like a psychologist, or not a psychologist. I'm more like a therapist. where I'm like, guys, listen. And not that anybody's crying, but I'm like, guys, listen, I'm providing the hopium, right? Because we went through this back in 2021 where we saw these massive dips. We saw big runs. 2020, 2021, we made all-time highs. And then look, we dropped down around the same time of the year. We did this just a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago. Like I said, we dropped down to 74. Bitcoin, at a time back in 2021, we were at 65K. And we dropped all the way down to $29,000, right? And we didn't just drop down there. We stayed down there for 3 months, but waited. I'm saying basically the month that we started to run was in July. July, you can see these green candles started to form, and we started moving up, right? Running up to our all-time high. And around this time was when alts basically went, really alts started to activate as we were moving up, but around this time is when you saw that your alts that maybe you bought in during this time have all 10x'd, right? And this is where I think something similar is forming, where we're going to see almost the same thing. Obviously, it's not going to be exact timing. Prices are completely different time frame, stuff like that, but I'm here to show you guys that I do believe the 4-year cycle is still very relevant. And we're most likely going to be seeing this towards the end of the year, in my opinion, right? In my opinion. So, let's see here. Jane said, do you believe Milady can delete 3 zeros? Bro, 3 zeros is a lot, bro. 3 zeros is a lot. Can I meet you halfway and say that it can drop 1.5 zeros? Can we meet there? 3 zeros is a lot, bro. Canary, what's going on, bro? Said the bears on YouTube messed up the halving cycle by putting out nonsense online every time we pump or we get a pump. You know what, bro? I will tell you, man. Me personally, because I do YouTube, I do watch other, channels, but I go into these channels and I don't I'm trying to think, not that I don't listen, but I try not to. I don't want to get persuaded on what they're thinking. I like to look at different point of views, and I always encourage that with everybody, right? You want to get a full spectrum of different views, right? Because maybe the way I look at charts, other people are looking different, but it seems like they all kind of follow the same shit, right? One day, like right now, you're going to see, I guarantee you're going to see Bitcoin, where's the next stop? Bitcoin 150, 175, 250, right? It's all the same shit. And then if we drop down and Bitcoin takes a shit in the next week, what are the same channels going to do? 90,000 incoming, 80,000 incoming. It's all the same shit, right? They're just kind of running with the narrative, as far as just whatever I guess gets clicks, so, but not knocking anybody, right? Because at the end of the day, we all get given these tools, right? You have these charts, you have indicators and stuff like that. And no one can really predict what is exactly going to happen, right? Anything I say, that's why I specify in my opinion, because who freaking knows exactly what's in store for us in the next few months? All due reality, right? No one really knows. So, Ricky said, shocker, my view is usually bullish. Bro, I don't think I've ever seen you. I rarely see you bearish, bro, which is good. I say we need that in the Discord. Troy said NFK to the moon, and then he said, hold on, wait, molecule to the moon as well. Bill, the ultimate fear and greed indicator is just going in the Discord and see how bullish or bearish I am that day. I hear you. Let's jump into a couple things here. So not only is Bitcoin running today, but we had some solid moves with DeFi, particularly some of the projects that we do follow here. Monkey is a project that just dropped not too long ago. I think shout out to Jay if I'm not mistaken, right? I think Jay called this out on one of our Trenches streams in the last couple of days. This project absolutely went crazy. This dropped on Pump Fund. What was this? 20 days ago, but he actually brought it up maybe a few days ago. And this thing actually, when we were mapping this thing out, this was our buy zone. And look at this project as of the last like few days. This thing has ran absolutely crazy. So much money to be made on DeFi. Another project that we're very bullish on the channel, and disclaimer, heavily invested on Zbeck. Zbeck, I think, is going to be one of those plays where hopefully, as you know, I'm sitting on my rocking chair, looking at like 60 acres and some deers running across the property, right? I got my dogs with me, right? And my grandkids are over and they're like, Grandpa, how the hell did you afford all this? I'm going to say, you know what, little Johnny? Zbeck. Zbeck is the reason why we have all this here, right? This is what I'm going to tell him. No, but in all due reality, very bullish on this project. They had a live Q&A today on X. You can see, as of earlier 24-hour period, the numbers have reset, but we're up. I mean, we're up like crazy. Ricky, I knew you would love that, bro. I do really genuinely hope I can do that, though. That would be awesome, right? I think as any person, right, you want to have something like that. Have your grandkids over. But as in the last couple of days, Zbeck, in the last like day, up 53%, right? Is it ZB? Yeah. Yep. ZBCM, bro. And I mean, we've gone over it plenty of times on the channel. Obviously, like I said, I obviously am very heavily invested, so I'm going to be biased to this project. But it's a Solana-based project. They focus on payment solutions. You can do your own research on that. I do mean to drop a video on Zbeck here coming up soon. But I mean, market cap right now, $300 million. This project, in my opinion, is going to compete, not necessarily compete market cap wise. I hope it does, but something with like XRP, right? XRP is a banking coin, right? They want to be some kind of a payment solution. Zbeck is literally doing this. They're acquiring companies like crazy. They have deals with MasterCard. I mean, they're doing all kinds of stuff on the back end. They are they're doing real big stuff with AI, like I said, in payment solutions. They've been acquiring companies that have hundreds of thousands of users that are going to be forced to basically use Zbeck's network, right? So I think long term, this project is going to be something big, in my opinion. So obviously, we've seen. Let me zoom out a little bit on this project, but long term, I think it's going to do really well. We've seen this natural move where it did run up. These were on the announcements of acquiring a lot of these companies, right? You saw a lot of money to be made. Obviously, we saw the cool off, right, and this downward channel, because you know how people are with crypto. You tell them, no matter what, this long term, this is going to be a fantastic company. They're like, hell yeah, I'm up 2x right now, I'm selling, right? And I don't blame them. I don't blame them whatsoever. So you saw a lot of profit taking being made. We bottomed out somewhere, actually, a textbook drop right here at around the 786 at around the 21 area. I did start buying in. You know, shout out to like Ricky, shout out to Flip and a few other people that were basically calling this play out when it dropped, right? When this thing dropped 3 or 4 months ago, it was, you know, $1 million project and people were talking about this. And I mean, you can see this thing has run up like crazy and still doing fantastic. The point of what I'm getting to is we dropped down towards the 786 around this 21. I was buying in at around this, when we dropped to around the 36 level, I started to accumulate the project. As we were dropping, I was just slowly dollar cost averaging in. You guys know how I am. Whenever I'm in a long-term project, right? You guys know I do quick moves. I do my leverage trading. Memecoin'S, I will buy and sell. But there are going to be some projects that fundamentally I want to hold long-term. This is one of them. So as we were dropping, I was accumulating, right? Especially when we dropped down to these lower 20 areas. I just was picking up. I'm halfway to my goal, right? My goal personally is somewhere around, I want to hold somewhere around 1 million, right? So I'm about halfway there. Just been accumulating like crazy. And days like today, obviously when you're looking at your portfolio or you're looking at your wallet, right? You're up, you know, I'm up like crazy just because I've been accumulating like crazy as we've been down. So definitely a good day. Check this project out, ZBCN, and I am not affiliated whatsoever with that project. Just heavily invested in that one. So, but other than that, I mean, you can see across the board nothing but green for the 24 hours for a lot of my watch lists on the deck screener. Another meme coin I did just sell off just because I wanted to take the small profits that I did have on this, and I do plan on accumulating a little bit more down the road, is Mask. This is a meme coin that's a Solana-based project. This project intrigues me as far as just one of those meme coins that I think has not even seen what it's capable of doing. And what I mean by that is the market cap's at $7 million, right? It has 32,000+ holders as of now. That's more holders than like a project like MeLady. That's mainstream, right? This hasn't even hit any kind of central exchanges whatsoever. It's not on crypto.com. It's not on KuCoin. Nothing yet. But it has a massive following. I heard the community is crazy as far as on the Discord, on X, stuff like that. I mean, this is what drives these meme coins, right? Meme coins, they don't have any kind of utility or anything like that. But what drives a meme coin is basically hype, right? The community. That's what drives a meme coin. So if you can see all those boxes getting checked, something like this right here, something to check out. Like I said, I did sell just in the last like maybe hour. I did pick up, I wanted to pick up profits because the reason why I sold off, and I do plan on jumping right back in if we are going to drop down, was that I started buying in a little too early on this, right? So I was down. But what I did was when we had dropped down to these lower levels, I was doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down, bringing my average price down, waiting for some kind of a bounce. And that's what we've seen. Sorry, I was getting a phone call. So that's what we've seen. So now I was actually in the green. So I wanted to take those small profits, but really just get out of the position I was in and see if maybe we do drop down just maybe 10-20% on this. I might reposition myself and start acquiring more of this project. So we'll see how it plays out. Art, yes, I did. I sold my Myro, bro. I'm not even going to lie with you, bro. I did. And the reason why I sold Myro, even though Myro has been making a comeback, Myro's been having a nice little comeback. I was kind of just... My thing with Myro, this is my thing, bro, is Myro is on a lot of central exchanges, right? So it doesn't necessarily need the swaps anymore, but I was noticing that it just was drying out on the swaps, meaning like volume, $200,000, only 100 different wallets trading today on Radium. That's low for Myro, I'm not saying that Myro's is not going to pop. You can see in the last few days, it's up like 20 plus 30%. Right? If you just map it out from just yesterday, it's up 21%. So there's still a lot of interest in Myro. I personally just got rid of it, and I started accumulating other projects that I think might get to where Myro's at, but have a smaller market cap. And that's what I'm talking about with Mask. That's why I jumped in on Mask, because you look at Myro. Myro's been out for, a year? Almost 2 years. It has 51,000 holders. Mask has been out for like a month, and it's at 32,000. Right? And the market cap, while it's up 20 or 30% right now, is still half the market cap of what Myro is. It hasn't even been dropped on any of the mid-tier central exchanges yet. So imagine if it does get that opportunity to get on crypto.com and KuCoin and all these other. Mask has a lot of opportunity for upside. Myro does as well, but I felt like Myro was just moving at such a slow pace that I wanted to basically move the liquidity over to a different project that I think will maybe have a faster move towards the upside. But I'm not going to sit there and tell you that I don't like Myro, because I still do believe the same thing, that Myro will most likely run up to $1 at some point. I think it's going to need a little bit more of a pep as far as like hopefully some kind of a bigger tier exchange listing, right? But I mean, even if Myro runs up to freaking 15-20 cents, that's still a massive move from where it's at right now. So Ricky said, don't sleep on FWOG. Look what it did in the past. Let's see here. Bill said the ZBCN admins actually made an official statement the other day that it stands for zero Bitcoin, and they have no idea where ZBEC network came from. Hold on. Wait, what? Let me read this again. The ZBCN admins actually made an official statement the other day that it stands for zero Bitcoin, and they have no idea where Zbeck network came from. What do you mean by, like, I understand the zero Bitcoin, right? But what do you mean by Zbeck network? They don't know where it came from. What do you mean by that? Like, what do you... Oh, it was a bad joke. Bill, so I basically slaughtered your joke, bro. I'm over here all serious, like, I'm about to start Googling it, like, these son of a bitches. You're good, brother. You're good, dude. That's what sucks is, like, if you're texting, like right now, maybe if we were on a Zoom call and I could see your face, I'd be like, you're bullshitting right now, aren't you, bro? Excuse my language. But if we're texting, I'm like reading it like, what? You're good, brother. Rosales, what's going on? ¿Qué pasa? Speaking of ¿Qué pasa? Guys, in the next couple of days, I am going to be live streaming from Mexico. I'm going to be down in Mexico, and I'm going to be streaming. You guys are going to have the beach right behind me with some hot Latin chicks all around. I'm just kidding. I don't know about the Latin chicks. Hopefully that works out, right, Ricky? But, no, I'm going to be with the family. So I got to, keep it good. But I'm going on a cruise and I have the drink package. So I can't guarantee anything, right? So, we'll see how it goes. But I will be live streaming. I made sure I have Starlink basically on the boat. I have Starlink right when I hop off the boat because I'm getting on some private boats, and I'm going to be going out on excursions, and I'm making sure that I have internet on everything. So I'm going to be going on private islands. I'm going to be having, the internet and all that good stuff. And get this, the excursion that I booked, right? We're going to a private island. We're going to go snorkeling, and, we're going to go eat, right? We get basically go out, see what they have to offer. All you can drink. Freaking, it's going to be crazy. And there's Wi-Fi on the private island. So, definitely make sure. Meow, what's going on, bro? Rosales said Cancun. You know what? I'm not going to Cancun. I'm going down to, where am I going? I just got a brain fart here. It's right by Cancun. It's, not Cancun. I just forgot about it, bro. Not Cancun. What's the other place down there that's like right next to Cancun? What? It's right there, but what's the town right there? Not Cancun. Cozumel. We're going to Cozumel. That's where it is. I think all that stuff's right there, right? Cabo and Puerto Verde. I think all that stuff's in the same vicinity, but we're not going to Cancun. I heard Cancun beaches are like breathtaking, right? And that's I'm a Florida guy, right? I have beaches in my backyard, right? And I heard that Cancun's beaches are like absolutely insane. So, yeah, I'm going to, I already forgot where I just said. All I keep thinking about is Cancun. We're going down to, whatever I just said. We're going down there, so it's going to be fun. Are you going to be there on the 27th? Nice, bro. And we're going to get back into crypto, but one thing I always, you guys know I go on trips every year, right? I streamed last year. We went to the Bahamas, and I was streaming at the Keys and stuff like that. Bro, I always tell you guys, I always encourage, do good. Obviously, we want to do the best as far as with crypto and stuff like that, but man, take advantage of life and take advantage of going out on these trips. Whether, if you're up north and whatever getaways, that you guys like over in your area, right? I have the luxury of jumping on a boat right here. I live in Tampa, so you guys know I can just jump on a freaking boat, cruise, and I can go down to the Bahamas. We can go to Mexico, stuff like that. But regardless, if you're up in New York and you're like Ricky and you're rich, go to the Hamptons. I'm sure Ricky spends times in the Hamptons. And, if you're Flip and you're over in the Boston area, go to the Cod, go over to Jersey Shore, all that. Just go out and enjoy yourselves, right? Because it's summer, right? You gotta take advantage of it. The charts are always going to be here. Crypto's 24/7, right? There's always going to be money to be made. So Art said, bro, work on the Spanish essay. I'm telling you this. I'm not going to be just venturing off into Mexico because, I mean, the first person that comes up to me and they're like, hola, hola, amigo. I'm going to be like, hey, what's up, man? How are you? They're going to be looking at me like, you American? You're going to see me on stream and I'm going to be begging for you guys to send super chats so they'll let me go. They'll be like, please flip, send $100 super chat right now, bro. Please. Ransom. No, I'm just kidding. But not really. I'm not even kidding to a certain extent. You gotta make sure you respect other people's areas, right? So yeah, we'll leave it there. But definitely gonna enjoy it. You guys will be there with me. You guys are gonna be there with me, so Meow said, did you hear that Carnival is taking away the tier system next year? Bro, you couldn't pay me to get on a freaking Carnival ship. You couldn't pay me to get on a Carnival ship, bro. And I don't mean this, I say this respectfully, but yeah. From what I've been seeing on freaking Carnival, I'm like, nah, I don't want to get involved in any of that stuff. You're on a freaking boat and people are like fighting and stuff like that. I'm good. I'm more of a, like the last boat I got on, it was like, it had 3 different pools. It had the 2 party pools, and then I had the inside pool where they even had a little extended arm, right? And you could get on it and it drops you into the pool, right? For the elderly people. That's where I like to hang out. They're quiet, they're respectful, right? We all can just get along, right? I can't do it. I'm just kidding. No, I was out there with the party people. Meow said, yeah, we just got on one, and on departing day there was someone bugging out trying to get into a fight. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I'm not stereotyping anything or anything like that. I just, like, obviously I've seen literally people leaving from Tampa Port, that's where I live, leaving on Carnival, and it was like, look it up, Tampa Carnival cruise fight, and it was like freaking like 30 people on 30 people fighting. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking at who it was or anything. I'm just looking at the drama, because what happens is a lot of times you can get, and it stinks, but like nowadays you can get on these cruise ships for a good price, right? You can get on for a good price where, if you like put like, 4 people in one room, you can get it. Everybody can get in for like $250. If you don't worry about getting like the room with the balconies or, any of that, like upstairs, like upping your room or anything like that, and not getting the drink package, you can get on for pretty cheap, which I think is amazing, right? It gives opportunity for people that maybe couldn't afford it before, but what it also brings is people that are maybe, like just, not so, people that maybe aren't on the ship to respect others, and have a lot of people, they get on for $200 and now they're like, they just don't give a shit, and they want to just sit there and like cause drama, and I don't want to be involved with that. I'd rather pay more and get on these ships where it's a lot more than other ships, but it keeps a lot of that crap out, so it is what it is. And my daughter was like, Dad, whenever we go, we always have to get like a room with a balcony, because it is, honestly, I couldn't, like, I could, but I don't want to, as far as like being on one of those rooms where you don't even have a window, like I wake up early. I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be streaming with you guys, right? And I like to wake up early. I like to come out on the balcony, stretch out, and you're pulling up to some island or something, like some freaking foreign place. I like to see all that shit. Like, I love it. So let me see here. Let's get back to crypto real quick. Like I said, though, you guys will be with me. I'm going to be streaming a lot on the ship. I made sure, contacted Elon, and I was like, bro, you gotta set me up with the Starlink, like world, like I gotta be just anywhere I have the Starlink set up. And he was like, yeah, don't worry, bro, I got you. So I can be anywhere, and he's got me, bro. Rosales Said, bro, can you check out Solana? Let's pull it up. So Solana, obviously up 3, almost 4% today. Not looking bad at all. Nice little move. Bro, one thing I'm looking at, Solana's up 3.7% right now. Freaking Ethereum, though, absolutely killing it. We called it on the channel since last week. Ethereum's up 5.6% right now. 5.6% right now. Absolutely killing it. So Solana looks great, right? And I have no worries with Solana. You guys know I freaking love Solana. 97% of my trading is via Solana network, right? So you guys know I want nothing but the best for Solana. I hold Solana. Like I said, my whole house is built in Solana. I'm just kidding. No, but I love Solana. I really do. So nice little bounce. Obviously, we saw a bottom out as of late. We're looking at, let me pull up something real quick. Let's pull up the daily real quick so we can kind of get a gist on where we've bottomed out and where we're at right now. So you can see Solana, looking at the daily, right? This was obviously like 2 months ago. This is June, the end of June. So about 3 weeks ago, we bottomed out at around 126. And since then, we've been on an upward trend for Solana. So, I mean, it looks great. As of now, you can see the nice little upward trend. As of late, as of today, look where we've bounced off of. We found some support at that 150, 151, right? I think me and you talked about this, Rosales, right? We were talking about longing and shorting. This was like maybe a few weeks back. And I said that 151 is like a spot where before today, we have broke above, but we always seem to find ourselves below that 151, right? And you can see on the daily, we would break above. We'd have nice little days where we'd be like 150, 155, 156, but we'd always come back down, and break below that 151. Now it looks like we found some support. This is the first time, I would say, probably in the last week, 2 weeks, if not longer, that we've actually bounced off the 151, which is a big move in my opinion. This could be setting us up for some nice movement towards the upside on Solana. So I would say, other than maybe some miscellaneous spots in between 151 and 162, we might, find little spots that we hit our head on here and there. But 162 is going to be the next big spot for some resistance. And I say big spot like how 151 was. So, but upward trend looks good. As long as this market can stay healthy, right? I think Solana is going to be just doing nothing but moving towards the upside with little dips here and there, right? So, Craig, what's going on, bro? Art said you're sleeping on Sui. I'm not sleeping on Sui, bro. Don't get Ricky started on Sui, please. Ricky said the last cruise I was on was really cheap, but the casino was really expensive. They got you. Ricky did tell me, he said, bro, stay out of the casino. I'm telling you, dude, you guys see how I am when we're doing our Degen. You see how we're doing when we go to the trenches and we're buying shit on Pump Fund? What do you see me? I jump in and I'm like, I could have $100,000 in my account and I'm literally coming in with $10. Like, that's how I look at the casino. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not real big on going into those places because you know that it's all not against you, but it's all basically what am I looking for here? It's all basically like, it's against you in a way, right? Like, not against you like they hate you, but like it's all against you as far as like you have more odds of losing your money versus making it. But I think that's what makes it fun, right? So if you go in respectively with some money that you don't mind, you're not going to lose sleep over, then you go in and you're like, screw it. You make some money or you hit big, you have fun. But other than that, if you lose it, I'm not losing any sleep over it, So, but I mostly, like I said, I mostly like with casinos, dude. I've had my time. I've had my fun with casinos, but I'm just not a real big casino guy, in my opinion. I like walking through there, though. I like to see it. I've been to Vegas. I've walked through all the big casinos, and it's fun to be there. But at the same time, like I said, I don't like going there and dropping big money in the casinos. I just don't like it. Maybe one day when Zebek, makes me a millionaire, I'll go there and spend a little bit more than $10. So, Craig said, "What did I miss, bro?" Well, you know what? You can, after we're done streaming, you can go back into the past right? And you can watch it all. We did cover a lot of stuff. We haven't really got into anything news-wise. I was about to start reading this article right here, which I am here in a minute. But just check it out after we're done. Steve, what's going on, brother? Said get your crypto off exchanges and get them secure and off-chain and cold wallets. Securing your assets is key for the future. I agree, bro. I agree. I personally think that is a good reminder for everybody, right? And what Steve means is like, don't, if you have, if you have like $100, depends. If $100 is a lot for you, right? Everybody's got different financial situations, but like if you're holding some big money, be careful just leaving it in your crypto.com. And I say that because, and I'm doing that literally right now. Or your Coinbase, doing that as well. Like exchanges, because you have to be very cautious. One thing I will say though, Steve, is from what we've seen is a lot of these exchanges, they do get held accountable, but it's not guaranteed that you're going to get all your money back, right? So to be on the safe side, if you're able to, right? Because not every crypto is able to sit. You're not able to send every, if you're holding some of these projects, maybe they're not compatible with your Ledger, cold wallet, or anything like that. You have to kind of look and see what these are compatible with. But if you're able to, if you're holding Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, any of these bigger projects and you have big amounts, you can easily send them over to a cold wallet, which cold means it's not connected to the computer. It's not connected to the internet, anything like that, unless you connect it, right? You can take it offline. It's for the most part supposed to be basically the safest way you can keep your crypto and not have to worry, that something's going to happen with it. So, and then Flip said use 2FA as well, which I agree, right? The more security you can have, the better. So, Meow saying it's designed for you to lose. Exactly, that's what I was meaning. Canary, bro, cut your hair. You're looking like one of them dudes that was trying to kidnap the 3 ninjas. Hold on here. This guy told me to cut my hair. I'm looking like one of those people that were trying to. I do now. It's all hitting me now, bro. Bro, my hair. Look how long. I don't know if you can get it on camera, bro. My hair is so long. My daughter's been like, Dad, cut your hair. And I'm like, I gotta wait. Look. You can't even see, bro. My hair is all the way down to like here. But I've been purposely growing it out because when I come out of the water, when I'm down in Mexico, it's breathtaking, bro. It's breathtaking. No diddy. So, don't be hating on me, bro. Don't be hating. That's why I wear a hat for people like Canary, so they can't say anything. Sheesh, Can't even have my hair long nowadays, bro. I'm just messing with you, bro. I'm just messing with you, man. Let's run through these articles real quick. So obviously this was as of earlier. Real quick update. Bitcoin, we're at 111,000. We're at 111,144 right now. I was looking at my short position real quick. I'm still up 5%, but it's starting to dwindle. Here. Let's see here. So Bitcoin hits all-time highs as new bull market begins. You see that? Within an hour of us breaking all-time highs, new bull market begins. Hell yeah. They go with the wind, bro. They go with the wind. So let's see here. Let's just read in. Oh, there's not even an article here. So Bitcoin has officially hit all-time highs of 111,999, surpassing its previous peak set on May 22nd, 2025. The milestone marks the beginning of what analysts are calling a new Bitcoin bull market, fueled by growing institutional interests and resurgence in retail demand. Over the past few weeks, institutional interest in crypto assets has begun growing week on week, according to the reports on CoinShare. And this basically goes to what I've been saying, right? Even on shitty days, what have I said day in and day out, right? Yeah, it sucks. Your portfolio is down, but look, and we bring it up, BlackRock just bought freaking $3 billion worth of Bitcoin. Michael Saylor keeps buying daily freaking $500 million worth of Bitcoin. You know, and just over and over, all these institutions, inflows on Bitcoin, ETFs, just massively. Who do you think is buying all this? Very small percentage of retail, 97% all institution, big hedge funds, big money coming in, eating up, like I said earlier, gobbling up, no diddy, on the Bitcoin because they know, right, where we're headed. And they also, like I said, you think Bitcoin or Michael Saylor, when he's buying Bitcoin, he's necessarily focused on the price? He's not. Obviously, he's keeping an eye on the price, but he's more focused on how much Bitcoin he actually is holding because there's only a certain amount of Bitcoin, right? There's only a certain amount of Bitcoin, period. So the price right now, to him, it just doesn't really matter, right? He's just trying to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible. So Flip said when I come out of, he's saying when he comes out of the water, it's breathtaking too. Ricky, thank you so much. He says, bro has good hair. I appreciate that. Listen, I'm in my 30s, right? We don't know how long we're going to keep hair for. You know, in the next 10 years, I could be freaking bald. So let me grow my hair out and let me enjoy my stuff, Canary. All right, bro? Sheesh. Just messing with you. Art said, looking like a Mexican band frontman. Well, good, because I'm going to Mexico. I need to blend in. Like I said, if I come on stream and I'm begging you guys for super chats, send them, because that means it's ransom. They're literally have taken me for ransom, and I'm asking you guys to please help a brother out so I can make it back home. Craig said Bitcoin's dominance has come down a little bit. Yeah, we were just looking at that a little while ago. I mean, it has come down, but we've seen this story so far, right? I ain't really getting too excited until we break below this trend. We break below the trend, I will start to be a little amused about it, no diddy, but we have ways to go for us to really break down, but we're heading in the right direction, right? We're heading in the right direction, so. Ricky said, I need breath taken when I come out from under the water. Craig said, my hair is running like it stole something, but I'm old. Exactly, bro. And trust me, we'll all be there. Either you're going to go bald or you're going to go like completely gray, you know? And I think I'm going more the gray. Hence, you can see like my beard and stuff like that. It is like starting, well, not starting. It's been there for a while, but you can see at some point I'm going to be streaming and it's going to be just fully gray. We're going to look at a time lapse of when I first started streaming and where like 5 years from now, it's just going to be straight gray. I won't have this long hair anymore, most likely. All right. If I still have long hair in 5 years from now, it'll be a problem. So Bitcoin's price hits record highs as ETF demand overwhelms bearish market setup. So Bitcoin has officially entered a price discovery mode, breaking its May high as bearish indicators fail to contain ETF-led flows, growing corporate balance sheet adoption, and macro tailwinds. Traders who bet against the breakout are now fueling the rally's next leg. So on July 9th, which is today, Bitcoin surged over 2% to trade just above its prior all-time high of 111,907 set in May. The rally defied a wall of speculism. What was? I say that correctly? I didn't say that correctly, right? These are one of these words that I know it, right? Obviously, but it can't roll off my tongue. You guys ever have those words where it just can't roll off your tongue? Jeez, like I have it, but I can't let it roll off. But you guys know what I mean, right? You can see it right here. So short-term interest has climbed to $35 billion ahead of the move, while technical indicators flash bearish divergence. Bitcoin all-time highs could be seen as confirmation that institutional capital flows, not retail leverage, now dictates crypto's inflection points. The original cryptocurrency entered into the uncharted territory amid a macro environment clouded by hawkish labor data and a sudden drop in rate cut expectations, defying a short-term bearish sentiment that had gripped markets earlier this week. And we already talked about all this, right? We don't need to get into it. Well, at least this, but institutional tsunami. What I've been saying, right? We have all this institutional money that's just been steadily flowing in. Follow the money, right? Follow the money. And that money will be tricking over to alts. Mark my words. So favorable geopolitics. Geopolitics added an unexpected tailwind. On July 9th, the Trump administration fired warning shots at six nations. This was earlier, slapping Algeria and Iraq with 30% tariffs. While, forgive me if I mispronounce any of these countries, is that Brunei, Libya, and Moldova face 25% duties, and the Philippines brace for 20%. This marks the latest escalation in border tariff offensives following the threat against Japan and South Korea earlier this in the week. Historically, such measures trigger inflation, supply chain disruptions, and equity sell-offs, but Bitcoin eerie claim suggests traders aren't panicking, at the least not yet. According to the CoinShares, Jeff Butterfield, I feel like I need to say no Diddy on that one, Butterfield, that may be a temporary illusion. In the short term, tariffs slow growth and spook risk assets, including Bitcoin, he noted in a report. Let's see here. Increased tariff announcements will likely spook the market, he told Crypto News, but players are conditioned to expect last-minute deals. The real test comes August 1st, and if tariffs take effect, Bitcoin's range-bound could shatter. And I agree with that, right? I told you guys, we talked about this, I think this was yesterday or the day before, with the freaking tariffs. It's just like, we all just want to get this shit over with. Like, figure it out. We're going to be paying tariffs, or they're going to be paying, get it all figured out so we can move on. But freaking kicking the can down the road, right? It's just, all it's doing is it's going to cause us to have to deal with the crap later down the road, right? And later down the road, meaning 3 weeks from now, August 1st, we're going to have to deal with this shit again. Hopefully something, gets resolved in the meantime. So it's just, it's a pain, right? It's a pain. But that's really the only bearishness that they can even say about any of this stuff, because as of now, there's really not much in our way. There's really not much in our way as of now, So things point towards the upside. Bitcoin looks great. The market looks great. If Bitcoin can really hang out and stay above some of these levels, like I said, 110 is really going to be the big spot. We have on this particular chart for the day, this is the weekly, you can see 109.1 looks like it's the spot that we really, I think if you can see on this chart, right, even when we made highs on the weekly, we never were able to find support above this level. This 109,000, we'll call it 109,100, somewhere around that area, is what we're looking for. It's really 109.73. That's what we're looking for. You can see plenty of times we had candle wicks where we broke above, but we've never been able to actually find support. If we can close this week with some good support above this level, I think this might be, and if we can hold this 109 area, right, I think we might be continuing our way, like I said, towards this last massive move that we're going to see in this last third, fourth, really the last third quarter, in my opinion, going into the fourth quarter of this year, where Bitcoin's going to be finally making its last stretch to all-time highs, and we see dominance dropping and all coins going absolutely parabolic. So we'll see how this plays out, but I do think that we have some good times ahead of us. There's always going to be dips in between those good times, so just bear with it. For me, DCAing, dollar cost averaging in on a lot of these projects that I'm long-term on. I mean, even right now on some of these projects, well, most of these projects, they're still down like crazy, right? So a lot of opportunities still to be made if you feel like you lost or that you've been left, at the dock and the boat's already sailed off. I think you still have ample opportunity, in my opinion, to accumulate. But I mean, not financial advice. I personally, now that I've accumulated a lot, I like to just buy during the red days, right? So whenever we see, solid red days, those are usually the times where I'm pulling the pocketbook out, I'm writing a check to crypto.com. No, I'm just kidding. I don't buy on crypto.com, but you guys get the gist, where I'm just accumulating, on those red days. So, but other than that, that's pretty much it. Tonight, we aren't having our member stream tonight, guys. We will be probably heading to the trenches tomorrow. Tomorrow will probably be our last day for the next week, just because I will be streaming, but I won't have the computer right with me, so we won't be able to really do our trenches streams. But if you guys are interested in learning how to do pump fund, learning how to jump in on these meme coins, we do live trading on our member stream. So come join us. It's only $4.99 to join, $4.99 for the month. We stream multiple times throughout the month, right? So only $5, and you potentially could be jumping in on some of these plays and 10x in that $5. So I don't know. Seems like a good investment to me, but I guess it's to each your own, right? Let's see here. Craig said crypto will get you to age, though. It will. But, I think it's just natural. Because, honestly, my 5 years in crypto have been great, right? It's been great. Yes, there's been stressful days. You got to take losses here and there, right? But you learn from them. So, Ricky said, thank God for the opportunity of good times in our sites. Hell yeah, I agree with you, bro. I agree with you, brother. With that being said, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm going to let you guys go. Have a fantastic night. It's hump day, right? Now, I don't mean literally go out there and start humping. I'm just saying it's like hump day, where it's like, Wednesday. No Diddy on that one. I'll end it right there. But we're halfway already, pretty much. We're past halfway point of the week. So you guys have a good night, and we'll be back here tomorrow. We'll probably have a market open stream tomorrow. We'll see. I don't think we have any macro stuff dropping tomorrow. Let me see. FOMC minutes was today, right? If I'm not mistaken. What is this? This is on the 15th. Okay. CPI report. That's next week, so we'll deal with that then. All right, guys. With that being said, have a great night. I will see each and every one of you guys tomorrow. All right? Thank you again. Hit that like. See ya. Oh, hold on. Rosales said, Crip, do you think Ethereum will hit 28 by tonight? We'll hit, what do you mean? I don't know about tonight, bro. Where are we at? I mean, it's not far. It's not far. Right? I'm going to tell you this right now, Rosales. You're going to have, the consolidation zone. Top of the zone's at 2,861. I know why you're asking, because you want to open up a long. All I'm going to say, bro, is just be cautious, because you've had plenty of opportunity to open up a long, right? I still do. Obviously we know Ethereum's going to be running, but you're going to have these dips. So depending on how big of a leverage you open up, and I mean like how high your leverage is, be careful, right? So if I was forced to open up a long right now on Ethereum, it would be like a 5x or below. So I know I have plenty of room to where if this thing dips, I don't have to trip, and I can even add to the position, right? So I don't get liquidated. So I don't know about 28 tonight. It could. You're literally $30 away from it right now. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it does. We'll have to see. Bitcoin right now is sitting at around, 111,003 right now. So, Bitcoin's holding very well. We didn't see just a big run up and a run down. It's holding fairly well right now. So, that 111,300 to be exact is a big spot for some resistance that I have marked down. So, all right, guys. With that being said, have a good night tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow, all right? See ya.